Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ricardo Pitts-Wiley. I am the author and director of this evening's production, adaptation, and production of Moby-Dick Then and Now. About 6 years ago, I began a process because I believed that it was possible to teach young people and new audiences a great novel like Moby-Dick. I had an idea, but I needed a lot of support. The first group that I worked with was a group of Melville scholars that I met in New Bedford. The second and very important group that I met was a group of incarcerated young men in the Rhode Island prison system. They were not only brilliant, but they were so helpful. They released my imagination because their imaginations were released by the novel. I also worked with a group of high school students in Rhode Island who helped me sculpt the young people's language. And then I met Henry Jenkins, who was at MIT at the time, along with Wynn Kelly. And this concept of new media literacies came into play. And we realized that what I was trying to do and what they were trying to do were very, very closely related. And a partnership has developed as a result of a book called Reading in the Participatory Culture, and also an opportunity to come to the University of Southern California, fight on, and do a stage reading production with students from the university and from LASA, the High School for the Performing Arts, and also we have a Gertz wrestler student.
Could you be a little louder?
Could you be a little? Could I be a little? I could absolutely be a little. All righty. That's the first time I've ever heard that in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming out tonight. There will be a talkback session with myself and Henry Jenkins. I hope Anita Dashiell-Sparks, who was very instrumental in bringing us here, and also a special shout out to Alexandrina of Laura, who a PhD student here in the communications school, who was very instrumental in making sure that this project happened. And my special thanks to Jim Hoyt and the staff here at the School for Communications. They were nothing but wonderful. Thank you all very much. And now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Moby-Dick, Then and Now.
Until he spouts black blood. Until he spouts black blood.
Call me Ishmael. Some years ago, never mind how long precisely, having little or no money in my purse, and nothing in particular to interest me on shore, I thought I would sail about a little and see the watery part of the world. Whenever I find myself growing grim about the mouth, whenever it is a damp, drizzly November in my soul, whenever I find myself involuntarily passing before coffin warehouses and bringing up the rear of every funeral I meet, And essentially, whenever my high post gets such an upper hand of me, that it requires a strong moral principle to prevent me from deliberately stepping into the street and methodically knocking people's hats off. Then, I account it high time to get to see as soon as I can. This is my substitute for pistol and ball. There was nothing surprising in this, but knew it. Almost all men in their degree, sometime or other, cherish very nearly the same feelings towards the ocean with me. By reason of these things, then, the whaling voyage was welcome. The great floodgates of the wonder world swung open, and in the wild conceits that swayed me to my purpose, two and two, there floated into my inmost soul endless processions of the whale, and in midmost of them all, one grand hooded phantom, like the snow hill in the air.
I'm cute, like the letter. My government name doesn't really suit me, especially in the line of work me and my team are in. We come from a lot of different places, but somehow, some way, we all end up in the same city, on the same block, so it's only natural that we call ourselves the One. We specialize in urban pharmaceuticals. You got dough, we got weight for that. You got beef, we got burners for that. We keep it professional, and of course, we keep it fly. None of us are forced to flip burgers like slaves.
Who ain't a slave?
For somebody else, and still live from paycheck to paycheck. We stack paper on our terms, on our time. Life's too short, and in the hood, it's even shorter. Why waste it being broke? Some people think the game is easy, that it's for lazy chumps. It's funny. I've never seen a hustler without any type of hustle. And I've certainly never seen a hustler get a bailout. A while back, I started writing it all down. The laughs, the drama, the money. Not sure why. Just figured it was a story worth telling. The One has gotta leave its mark. The One's been good to the game, and the game's been good to us. Rules were set down, and we played by them. Everything was cool, until Pip, the crew's leader's little brother, decided to take some of our product and sell it himself to show Alba, his big sister, that he belonged. Pip broke the rules. He didn't belong, and White Thing didn't care.
Are you listening to me, Alba? Alba, you never listen to me!
Everybody relax. I know y'all want to get back on the block and make some cash. I've been tripping over my brother, and we've been laying low, and...
Yo, White Thing ain't been laying low. You hear what I'm saying?
Laying low? Right. Since he wrote that on Pip, 3 other crews got people on the slab. Dude's body count is kind of major right now.
Have any of them hit back at White Thing? Has anybody gotten to him?
At White Thing? One crew might have thought about it, but figured it'd be a better idea to stand in front of the express train. Hell, he got everybody scared.
The boogeyman's afraid of White Thing, son. Do you want to stack ships and live to tell about it? Here's good business. Very good business.
Pip was afraid, but White Thing murked him anyway.
Alba, White Thing was sending the One a message. It wasn't about Pip. It was about respect. This is his ocean, and he's the biggest fish in it.
Is that the message you got, Dodge?
It don't matter what I think. Nobody ever listens.
What about Tasha? What about you, Q? Do you agree with Stu?
White Thing is a mighty big fish. To him, we just Nemo.
But are we slow fish that just let things happen to us? Or fast fish that are fate makers?
Forget fish. White Thing is the reason any of us have any dough. What would we have without the game? What would we have? Hate it or love it? Alba, your people and mine are living lovely because of White Thing.
Yeah, he paid. But he took something from me. And I gotta square that up.
So where are you gonna hunt him down? Where he at?
He's up high, where you can see everything and everybody. In the heart of the city.
Why do we have to go there?
The heart of the city? Damn.
The heart of the city? Damn, why do we have to go there? That's not what we know, Alba. And when we get there with all those millions of people, how will we know him? What does White Thing even look like?
Who's ever seen him? Has anybody ever seen him?
He's tall and handsome. He has a gentle voice. His hair is long and short, sometimes black, sometimes blonde, sometimes brown. It depends on the sun. He sings softly to himself and smiles. I thought I was in love with him 10 minutes after I met him. He told me that he would take care of me and the one if we took care of him. Then his eyes turned blood red, and he got even taller. He has a dangerous and sexy smell. He comes with a chill, like the wind at the top of Mount Everest. He's not so hard to find. I can pick him out of a million.
My uncle said he saw him once. He said White Thing was the finest woman he'd ever seen.
My cousin said when he saw White Thing, it was like looking in the mirror.
My mama said white thing can be anything.
Hey, so who's driving ticket?
Nobody. We ride in low style, like ordinary folks.
Grand contested election for the presidency of the United States. Bloody battle in Afghanistan.
Grand contested election for the presidency of the United States? Bloody battle in Afghanistan? I swear, if it wasn't for the sports sections, the news would be the same every day.
Yes, there is death in this business of whaling, a speciously quick, chaotic bundling of a man into eternity. But what then? Methinks we have hugely mistaken this matter of life and death. Methinks that what they call my shadow here on earth is my true substance. Methinks that in looking at things spiritual, we are too much like oysters, observing the sun through the water and thinking that thick water the thinnest of air. Then here I prospectively ascribe all the honor and the glory to whaling, for a whale ship was my Yale College and my Harvard.
Listen up. Listen up. When another clique tries to work in our hood, how do we handle that?
We do like we always do. Grab some dude from the group, whoop his natural ass, and send him back to his group with a message.
And if that don't work?
Well, we know we're either dealing with a clown or somebody who thinks the one is some kind of chump crew.
Can't have that now, can we?
Oh no, we ain't having that. Man, shitty, bang, bang.
Oh, hell yeah. Pop goes the weasel.
And another fool who used to be screwing with our money?
You mean this green stuff with the dead presidents on it?
Wait up, hold up. Benjamin Franklin wasn't a president.
Yeah, but he got the biggest bill.
We're going into the heart of the city to find White Thing. You spot him before I do? This is all yours.
Ballin'! It's all about the Benjamins, baby. I got my mind on my money and my money on my mind. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. Got my mind on my money and my money on my mind.
Alba, why are you really sweating White Thing anyway? He don't owe us money, or does he?
He owes me. He took Pip from me, and I'm going to bring him down.
Alba,
Make him die if it's the last thing.
Alba girl, I miss Pip too. But this is a business we chose. Maybe it chose us. Whatever. But everybody knows, if you're in business with White Thing, there are risks, like dying.
Damn Tanisha Marie Lopes. Were you worried about dying when I kept the bank from putting your family out of their house? Stuart Bronson III. Were you worried about dying when a new piano just showed up at your mama's church, where we were both baptized? A new car makes for a great Christmas, would you say, Dana Michaela Johnson? No hospital will ever dare turn anybody in your family away again, will they, Clinton Morris?
You ain't got to guilt trip none of us, Alba. You know us like we know you run a tight ship. And we know we're in a business where bad things happen every day.
Yeah, we are in the business, and we know the risks. But White Thing didn't keep it business. He meant to hurt me, and he did. But not just my heart, or body, or even my soul. He has made my world hurt. My mother and father cry all night and look at me, hate in their eyes. A hate that will never go away. There is pain everywhere I go now. The air hurts. The sun hurts. Music that used to cool me out now hurts. The neighborhood where we all grew up has no more comfort in it, just pain. White Thing picked me out of 100,000. He took the most precious thing in my life away and filled that space with pain. And I will give him that pain back 10 times 10. I cannot and will not be stopped. Now, I'm going to go light a few candles. Maybe even say a prayer. And then I'll...
Going nowhere by yourself?
Not even.
No way.
Not today.
And God had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah. Amen. This book, containing only 4 chapters, 4 yarns, is one of the smallest strands in the mighty cable of the scriptures. But what is this lesson that the book of Jonah teaches? What is it? All sinners among men, the sin of this son was his willful disobedience of the command of God. Yes. Never mind now what that command was or how conveyed. He found it a hard command. Yes. So all the things that God would have us do are hard for us to do. Remember that. And if we obey God, we must disobey ourselves. And it is in this disobeying ourselves wherein the hardness of obeying God consists. Preach. With this sin of disobedience in him, Jonah still further flouts at God by seeking to flee from him. He thinks that a ship made by men will carry him into countries where God does not reign, but only the captains of this earth. He skulks about the wharfs with slouched hat and guilty eyes, skulking from his God, prowling among the shipping. At last, he finds a ship, receiving the last items of her cargo. And as he steps on board to see its captain, all the sailors for the moment desist from hoisting in the good to mark the stranger's evil eye. Evil eye! Jonah sees this, but in vain he tries to look all ease and confidence. In vain essays his wretched smile. Who's there? Who's there? Who's there? Who's there? The harmless question mangles Jonah. For the instant, he almost turns to flee again. But he rallies. I seek a passage in this ship. How soon sail ye, sir? No sooner does the captain hear that hollow voice than he darts a scrutinizing glance. We sail with the next coming tide. No sooner, sir? Soon enough for any honest man that goes a passenger. Ha! Jonah, that's another stab. Another stab. Quickly calls away the captain. I'll sail with thee. The passage money, how much is that? I'll pay now. In this world, shipmates, sin that pays its way can travel freely and without a passport. Whereas virtue, if a pauper, is stopped at all frontiers. Amen.
Savage though he was, and hideously marred about the face, at least to my taste, his countenance yet had something in it which was by no means disagreeable. You cannot hide the soul. Through all his unearthly tattooings, I thought I saw the traces of a simple, honest heart. And in his large, deep eyes, fiery black and bold, there seemed tokens of a spirit that would dare 1,000 devils.
I began to be sensible of strange feelings. I felt a melting in me. No more my splintered heart and maddened hand were turned against the wolfish world. This soothing savage had redeemed it. There he sat, his very indifference speaking a nature in which there lurked no civilized hypocrisies and bland deceits. Wild he was, a very sight of sights to see. Yet I began to feel myself mysteriously drawn towards him. And those same things that would have repelled most others, they were the very magnets that thus drew me. I'll try a pagan friend, thought I, since Christian kindness is proof but hollow courtesy.
That for some time we did not notice the jeering glances of the passengers, who marveled that 2 fellow beings should be so companionable, as though a white man were anything more dignified than a whitewashed Negro. Ignorance is the parent of fear.
Shipmates, have you shipped in that ship? Where you kids want to go today?
The heart of the city.
Why? Why are you going there for? Ain't no love in the heart of the city.
Not looking for love.
Have you shipped in it?
You mean the ship Pequod, I suppose?
Aye, the Pequod. That ship there.
Yes, we have just signed the articles.
Anything down there about your souls?
You still got a soul still?
About what?
Perhaps you haven't got any. No matter though, I know many a chaps that haven't got any. Good luck to them, and they are all the better off for it. Soul's a sort of fifth wheel to a wagon.
What are you jabbering about, shipmate?
He's got enough, though, to make up for all deficiencies of that sort in other chaps.
Let's go. This fellow has broken loose from somewhere. He's talking about something and somebody we don't know.
You've said true. You haven't seen Old Thunder yet, have you?
Who's Old Thunder?
Captain Ahab!
Alba!
What? The captain of our ship, the Pequod?
Aye. Among some of us old sailor chaps, he goes by that name. You haven't seen him yet, have you?
No, we haven't. He's sick, they say, but it's getting better. And we'll be all right again before long.
All right again before long.
Do you know what you're looking for in the city?
I don't see
You know why you're going?
business.
You're right, it's not my business. Your business is your business. Just wondering why you're taking this train. You know it only goes one way.
Yo, man, we only got one place to go, alright?
Not planning on coming back, huh?
Not until I finish what I came to do. Now give me the tickets, please.
Paying with cash. Good. That means I won't ever have to come looking for you.
What do you know about him? What did they tell you about him? Say that. I've heard that he's a good whale hunter and a good captain to his crew.
That's true, yes, both true enough. But you must jump when he gives an order. Step and growl, growl and go. That's the word with Captain Ahab. But nothing about that thing that happened to him off Cape Horn long ago when he lay like dead for 3 days and nights. Heard nothing about that, eh? And nothing about his losing his leg last voyage? Didn't you hear a word about them matters? No, I don't think you did, how could you? Who knows it? Not all, Nantucket, I guess. But howsever mayhap you've heard tell about the leg, and how he lost it, aye, how he spit in the Spaniard's sacred, holy silver calabash, and the prophecy that came true. You've heard of that, I dare say. Ah yes, that everyone knows the most. I mean, they know he's only one leg, and that a Participatory took the other off.
My friend, I know all about the loss of his leg.
All about it, eh? Sure you do. All.
Pretty sure.
You've shipped, have you? Names down on the papers? Well, what's signed is signed, and what's to be will be. And then again, perhaps it won't be after all.
Anyhow, it's all fixed and arranged already.
Some sailors or other must go with him, I suppose. As well these as any other men. God pity him. Morning to you, shipmates, morning. The ineffable heavens bless you. I'm sorry I stopped you. Morning to you, shipmates, morning.
Morning it is. Come along, QK. Let's leave this crazy man. But stop. Tell me your name, will you?
Elijah.
Dodge.
You've got 5 people here, but you give me money for 6 tickets.
Don't worry about the math, Einstein. Somebody else is coming.
Who else is coming, Alba? Who else do you need?
Let's just say a little extra backup.
Why? We got plenty of need to take care of business.
Let's just say then, when we get to the heart of the city, I'm not taking any chances.
So where is mysterious number 6?
He might already be on the train.
Did you see anything looking like a man?
Going towards that ship a while ago?
Yes, I thought I did see, but it was too dim to be sure.
Very dim, very dim. Morning to you. See if you can find him now, will you?
Find who?
Morning to you, morning to you. Oh, I was going to warn you against, but never mind.
It's all one. All in the family, too.
Sharp frost this morning, ain't it? Goodbye to you. Shan't see you again very soon, I guess. Unless it's before the grand jury.
The chief mate of the Pequod was Starbuck.
I will have no man on my ship who is not afraid of a whale.
By this, he seemed to mean not only that the most reliable and useful courage was that which arises from the fair estimation of the encountered peril, but that an utterly fearless man is far more dangerous comrade than a coward. Starbuck was no crusader after perils. In him, courage was not a sentiment.
Aye. Starbuck there is as skillful a man as you'll find anywhere in this fishery.
Stubb was the second mate. The third mate was Flask, a ruddy young fellow, very pugnacious concerning whales, who somehow seemed to think that it was a sort of point of honor to destroy whales whenever encountered them.
In my opinion, the wondrous whale was but a species of magnified mouse, or at least water rat, requiring only a little circumvention and some small application of time and trouble in order to kill and boil.
There were 3 harpooners. Pequod, the great Pacific Islander, Tashtego, an unmixed Indian from Gayhead of Martha's Vineyard, and Dagu, an African and former slave, coal black with lion-like tread. accompanying all they have, black little Pip. He never did. Oh no, he went before. Poor Alabama boy, beating his tambourine.
Down, break me down, bury me, yeah. What in the hell do you want?
Hey, yo, chill, I'm just gonna ask you to turn your music down. Why are you so feisty?
Go back to your seat, Stu. I'm thinking. Don't push me. What in the hell got in her?
Don't want to.
Captain, might there be some way of muffling the noise? Maybe lobe of toe in the ivory hill.
Am I a cannonball stuck, that thou would wad me that fashion? Or go thy ways below to thy nightly grave, where such as just sleep between shrouds, to use ye to the filling one at last. Down, dog, and kennel.
I am not used to be spoken to that way, sir. I do but hesitate have like it, sir.
Belfast!
No, sir, not yet. I will not tamely be called a dog, sir.
Then be called 10 times a donkey, and a mule, and an ass, and be gone, or I'll clear the world of thee.
It is very queer. Somehow now I don't well know whether to go back and strike him or... What's that? Down here on my knees and pray for him? How he flushed at me. His eyes like powder pans. Is he mad? But how's that? He called me a dog. Blazing, he called me a donkey. He built a pile of load jackasses on top of that. He might as well have kicked me and done with it. Or maybe he did kick me and I didn't observe it. The devil's the matter with me. I don't stand right on my legs. By the Lord, I must have been dreaming.
Mr. Starbuck, assemble the crew.
Captain on deck?
What do you do when you see a whale, men?
Sing out for him!
Good! And what do you next, men?
Lower away after him!
And what tune is it you pull to, men?
A dead well or a stuck boat?
All you mastheaders have before now heard me give orders about a white whale. Look ye, do you see this Spanish ounce of gold? It is a $16 piece, men. Do you see it? Whosoever of you raises me a white-headed whale with a wrinkled brow and a crooked jaw shall have this gold ounce, my boys. Skin your eyes for it, men. Look sharp for white water. If you see but a bubble, sing out.
Captain Ahab, that white whale must be the same that some call Moby-Dick.
Moby-Dick? Do you know the white whale then, Tad?
Does he fan-tell a little curious, sir, before he goes down?
And has he a curious spout too, very bushy, even for a parmacetty, and mighty quick, Captain Ahab?
And he had 1, 2, 3. Oh, good iron in him hide too, Captain. Or twins he T-Pass weak like him, and him.
Corkscrew! Aye, Queequeg. The harpoons lie all twisted and wrenched in him. Aye, Daggoo, his spout is a big one. Like a whole shock of wheat, and white as a pile of Nantucket wool. Aye, Tashtego. And he fantills like a split jib in a squall. Death and devils, men. It is Moby-Dick you have seen. Moby-Dick! Moby-Dick!
Captain Ahab. Captain Ahab. I have heard of Moby-Dick. Was it not Moby-Dick that took off thy leg?
Who told thee that? Aye, Starbuck, aye. My hearty's all round. It was Moby-Dick that dismasted me. Moby-Dick that brought me to this dead stump I stand on now. Aye. It was that accursed white whale that raised me, made a poor pegging lubber of me forever and a day. Aye. And I'll chase him round Good Hope, and round the Horn, and round the Norway Maelstrom, and round Perdition's flames before I give up. And this is what you have shipped for, men, to chase that white whale on both sides of land, and over all sides of earth, till he spouts black blood and rolls fin out. What say you, men? Will you splice hands on it now? I think you do look brave! God bless you! God bless you, men! Draw the great measure of grog!
Grog! Grog! Grog! Grog!
But what's this long face about, Mr. Starbuck? Wilt thou not chase the white whale? Art not game for Moby-Dick?
I am game for his crooked jaw, and for the jaws of death too, Captain Ahab, if it fairly comes in the way of the business we follow. But I came here to hunt whales, not my commander's vengeance. How many barrels will thy vengeance yield thee, even if thou gettest it, Captain Ahab? It will not fetch thee much in our Nantucket market.
Nantucket market hoot! But come closer, Starbuck. Thou requirest a little lower layer. If money's to be the measure, man, and the accountants have computed their great counting house, the globe, by girdling it with guineas 1 to every 3 parts of an inch, then let me tell thee that my vengeance will fetch a great premium here.
His mightiest chest, what's that for? Methinks it brings most vast, but hollow.
Vengeance on a dumb brute. That simply smote thee from blindest instinct. Madness. To be enraged with a dumb thing, Captain Ahab, seems blasphemous.
He tasks me. He heaps me. I see in him outrageous strength, with an inscrutable malice to New England. That inscrutable thing is chiefly what I hate. And be the white whale agent, or be the white whale principal, I will wreak that hate upon him. Talk not to me of blasphemy, man. I'd strike the sun if it insulted me. Take off thine eye, more intolerable than fiends' glarings as a doltish stare. But look ye, Starbuck, what is said in heat, that thing unsays itself. I meant not to incense thee. The crew, man, the crew. Are they not one and all with Ahab in the matter of this whale?
God keep me. God keep us all.
Advance, you mates. Cross your lances full before me. Well done. Let me touch the axes. Drink, harpooneers, drink and swear, death to Moby-Dick. God hunt us all, if we do not hunt Moby-Dick to his death.
Swear on the pledge we made to each other that you will help me take down White Thing.
We swear! Alba, you know me. You know me. I'm down for just about anything. Anything. Hey, yo, I'll go to the end of the world and back for the one. But are you sure you want to go after White Thing? Do you have any idea how big that dude is?
I brought some help. We'll see.
What I've dared, I've willed.
And what I've willed, I'll do.
They think me mad. Starbuck does. But I'm demoniac. I am madness maddened. That wild madness that's only calm to comprehend itself. The prophecy was that I should be dismembered. And I lost this leg. I now prophesy that I will dismember my dismemberer. Now then, be the prophet and the fulfiller one. That's more than your great gods ever were.
Farewell and adieu to you, French ladies. Farewell and adieu to you, ladies of Spain. For remixing orders will sail for Holy Land. The only short time is seeing you again.
We drink tonight to love tonight we drinking. Bleeding all the way to the brim, then break some lips with me.
All right.
Farewell and adieu to you. Farewell and adieu to you, my dudes. Our captain's out from leading the crew and viewing what we do.
Yeah.
And we'll have one of these fine whales. May your hearts never fail. Gotta stay strong, never frail.
Yeah.
Gotta stay strong, never frail. While striking the whale.
Striking.
While striking the whale.
Keep going.
While striking the whale.
Crash! There goes the jib stick! Bang, bang! God! Dark lower pit! Here comes the royal yard! That's worse than being in the whirlwinds the last day of the year. Who'd go climbing after chestnuts now, boy? But there they go, all cursing, and here I don't. Fine prospects to them. They're on the road to heaven. Hold on hard, Jiminy, hold on hard! But what a squeal! That's not just a squeal, those chaps are worse yet. They are your white squalls. White squalls? White whale. It makes me shiver just thinking about it. That anaconda of an old man swarm into him. Oh, thou big white God, aloft there somewhere in yon darkness, have mercy on this small black boy down here. Preserve him from all men that have no bowels to feel fear.
Something is not right with Alba. Something crazy is going on in her mind. Human madness is oftentimes a cunning and most feline thing. When you think it bled, it may have but become transfigured into some subtler still form.
Plus, Harky, there is somebody down in the after hall that hasn't been seen on deck yet. And I suspect our old mogul knows something of it too.
This is Fidal. He is with me.
Everybody listen up. This is Vidal. He's rolling with me.
One serene and moonlight night, when all the waves rolled by like scrolls of silver, and by their soft, suffusing seethings made what seemed a silvery silence, not a solitude. On such a silent night, a silvery jet was seen far in advance of the white bubbles at the bow. Lit up by the moon, it looked celestial, seemed some plumed and glittering god uprising from the sea. I first described this jet, for of these moonlight nights I was wont to mount to the main masthead and stand a lookout there, with the same precision as if it had been day. There, for several successive nights, that silvery moonlit jet, as if some winged spirit had lighted in the rigging and hailed the mortal crew. That unbearable spout was cast by one selfsame whale, and that whale, Moby-Dick, terrible old man, I thou steadfastly eyest thy purpose.
Well, to leeward, darty blows! Come on, man. Sperm whales! That's what we came for! Sperm whales!
Ready, men?
Ready!
Pull!
Pull!
Queequeg, ready?
Yeah!
Take this!
Consider all this, and then turn to this green, gentle, and most docile earth. Consider them both, the sea and land. And do you not find a strange analogy to something in yourself? For as this appalling ocean surrounds the verdant land, so in the soul of man there lies one insular Tahiti, full of peace and joy, but encompassed by all the horrors of the half-known life. God keep thee. Push not off from that island. Thou canst never return.
This is not a sperm whale, this is a right whale. I wonder what the old man wants with this lump of foul lard.
Wants with it? Did you never hear that the ship, which but once has a sperm whale hoisted on her starboard side, and at the same time a right whale on her larboard, did you never hear, Stubb, that that ship can never afterwards capsize?
Why not?
I don't know, but I heard that Gamboshi ghost of a Padala saying so, and he seems to know all about ship's charms. But sometimes I think he'll charm the ship to no good at last. I don't half like that chap, Stubb.
Plus, I take that Fidala to be the devil in disguise. Do you believe that cock and bull story about his having been stowed away on a Moor ship? He's the devil, I say. He sleeps in his boots, don't he? He hasn't got any hammock, but I've seen him lay of night in a coil of rigging.
What's the old man have so much to do with him for?
Striking a swap or a bargain, I suppose.
Bargain? About what?
Why, do you see? The old man is hard bent after that white whale, and the devil there is trying to come round him to get him to swap away his silver watch or his soul or something of that sort. And then he'll surrender Moby-Dick.
Pooh, Stubb, you're skylarking. How can Fidala do that? But I'm going now to keep a sharp lookout on him, and if I see anything very suspicious going on, I'll just take him by the nape of his neck and say, "Look here, Beelzebub, you don't do."
Dodge, I don't like that new guy. I don't trust him, and I don't like how much time Alba spends with him.
Tasha, do you still have dreams?
What?
I have dreams, see things.
Like what?
I see hearses 2 at a time.
Well, none of us will be in them. We go together as 5 as 1.
So what you going to do about Alba and that Vidala?
Nothing right now, but keep my eye on him.
Sharks. I hate sharks. Please, go and preach to them.
Fellow critters! I is ordered here to say that you must stop that damn smacking of the lip. Flask say that you can fill your damn bellies up to the hatchings, but by God, you must stop that damn racket!
For damn your eyes, you shouldn't swear that way when you're preaching. It's no way to convert sinners.
Oh, Dad, then preach to him yourself.
No, Cook, go on, go on.
Well then. Beloved fellow critters! Your voraciousness, fellow critters, I don't blame ye so much for. That is nature. But to govern that wicked nature, that is the point. You is shark sartin, but if you govern the shark in you, why then you be angel. For all angel is nothing more than the shark well governed.
Upon my soul, I am about of the same opinion. So give the benediction, please.
Cursed fellow critters! Kick up the damnedest row as ever you can. Fill your damn bellies till they bust and then die.
Cook, do you belong to the church?
Passed one once down in Cape Town.
Where do you expect to go to, Cook?
Go to bed very soon.
Cook, give me cutlets for supper tomorrow night in the mid-watch. Do you hear whale balls for breakfast? Don't forget.
Wish by gar whale eat him. Instead of him eat whale, I'd rest if he ain't more of a shark than Master Shark himself.
Now, you look like a smart kid, but tell me, if you had $1 million in cash in 20s, 50s, 100s, and you didn't want anybody to know that you had it, especially the IRS, what would you do with the cash?
Well, Mr. Suit, why don't you tell me?
I'll tell you what you do with all that cash. Dinero, moolah, dough, greens. You find a banker like me. Somebody used to dealing with cash. Pesos, shekels, paper, ducats. You'd come to me with your $1 million, and for a small commission, kind of like how a stockbroker does, and I make it go away, then come back to you, nice and clean. Lots of people do it. It is freaking big business. Big business.
Young, upscale, urban chic. Jamais vu chausser.
What did you just say to me?
It's French. It means I like your shoes. They cost a lot of money. I know. I have 4 kids that have all the things that you want. And all the shoes you kids wear all have their own names all over the TV and billboards. Chucks, Dunks, Toms, Jordans, Uggs, Vans. Ugh, no shoes to run, jump, or play. Just shoes for looking good.
Yo, for real, lady? Why are you talking to me about shoes?
Just saying. But I know that shoes are important, but they cost money. They're a symbol of status and money. Like Lexus and Beamer. That's another way of saying BMW. Another symbol of status and money. Status and money. Did you know that a lot of people make a lot of money off shoes? It's big business. Big business.
Francamente, querida, me importa un bledo. That's Spanish. It means, yo, baby, I don't give a damn.
I am the head of a 543-member police force. That's pretty big. Lots of crime to fight. If you're in trouble,
calling us. Now, my son-in-law is a developer.
What does he develop? Condos? I'm looking for something decent. Something about 5,000 square feet with a pool.
No money in building people houses. My son-in-law develops prisons. Booming business. Drugs, murder, drugs, robbery, drugs. Keeps my guys busy. Keeps the courts busy. My wife is a social worker. She's busy all the time. My brother is a DEA agent for the government. He's busy all the time trying to burn up cocaine farms in South America. Heck, they grow cocaine like we grow corn, only a lot more of it. A lot of people on the payroll. Big business. Big business.
What are you writing?
Who wants to know?
I'm a lawyer. I write too. Briefs and things, and I don't need underwear.
Lawyer, huh? So should I quid pro quo and tell you a stupid joke? Or should I tell you one pro bono?
I defend people that need defending. Have you ever needed a lawyer?
Not even. I stay out of trouble. But if I ever need one, I got a little spot to guarantee that I get a good lawyer.
I am one of the best. Can you afford me?
Hey, yo, dog, I can afford your whole firm.
Some of my profession depend on that little spot of yours. It's a big business. Big business. Hey, aren't you? Hey, everybody!
Don't tell anybody I'm here! I don't want anybody to know. I'm trying to lay low since my little trouble. You know?
I watch you on MTV all the time. I got your CD. In fact, I got all 3 of them.
Oh, do you? Cool. I hope you don't believe that everything you read about me.
What? Don't tell me you don't really have all those wild parties with all the girls by the poolside and all them fine guys.
There's guys in my pool? I'm gonna fire or tell my bodyguard. They're only supposed to let pretty girls in. Girls like you.
I don't think I'm the kind of girl for you.
Maybe not, but I still think you're pretty.
So how much time you get after you for getting busted?
People like you do time. Stars, we don't do time, we do repel. Don't you know that? The little bit of stuff they said, I had just proved to the world that I was just a regular gangster kid trying to live in this gangster world.
So you're a gangster?
Living the hardcore life, oh. Showing my fans how they could live if they could only get to the promised land. My parents, my manager, my record company tell me that getting caught with a little blow is good for business. Shoot! Great for business. Amen. Don't you want to be like me?
Prepare yourselves, mates. There be agents on this train.
Is it like they?
Might be, might not be, but they've sounded and will be rising soon.
I can feel something lurking, but I don't see anything.
Hold up. They can't stay down forever.
Keep your guns in your pockets. It won't help you now. You can only fight White Thing hand to hand. Personal and close. Use a knife. They have eyes that can see in darkness and will follow the flash of a gun straight to your heart.
There it is, no gun!
Hey, yo, it's over here! No, it's here!
We got it. Whatever it was, it's dead now.
Oh, that was fun. But it wasn't what I came for. Where's the doll? I hope I didn't.
Pip, though over tender-hearted, was at bottom very bright, with that pleasant, genial, jolly brightness peculiar to his tribe. A tribe which ever enjoy all holidays and festivities with finer, freer relish than any other race. But Pip loved life, and all life's peaceable securities, so that the freer relish, panic-stricken business in which he had somehow unaccountably become entrapped had most sadly blurred his brightness, though as ere long will be seen, what was thus temporarily subdued in him. Stubbs, after oarsman, chanced to sprain his hand, and temporarily Pip was put in his place.
The first time Stubb lowered with him, happily, escaped close contact with the whale, and therefore came off not altogether discreditably. Now upon the second lowering, the boat paddled upon the whale, and as the fish received the darted iron, it gave its customary rap, which happened, in this instance, to be right under poor Pip's seat. That instant, the stricken whale started on a fierce run. The line swiftly straightened, and presto! Poor Pip came all foaming up to the chocks of the boat, remorselessly dragged there by the line, which had taken several turns around his chest and neck. Tashtego snatched the boat knife from his sheath and cut, and so the whale was lost and Pip was saved.
Stick to the boat, Pip, for by the Lord, I won't pick you up if you jump. Mind that, we can't afford to lose whales by the likes of you.
Alas, Stubb was but too true to his word. Bobbing up and down in the sea, Pip's ebon head showed like a head of cloves. No boat knife was lifted when he fell so rapidly astern. Stubb's inexorable back was turned upon him, and the whale was winged. In 3 minutes, a whole mile of shoreless ocean was between Pip and Stubb. Out from the center of the sea, poor Pip turned his crisp, curling black head to the sun. Another lonely castaway, though the loftiest and the brightest.
By the merest chance of the ship itself, at last rescued him. But for that hour, the little Negro went about the deck an idiot. Such, at least they said he was. The sea had jeeringly kept his finite body up, but drowned the infinite of his soul. Not drowned entirely, though, rather carried down alive to wondrous depths, where strange shapes of the unwarped primal world glided to and fro before his passive eyes. And the miser merman, wisdom, revealed his hoarded heaps. And among the joyous, heartless, ever-juvenile eternities, Pip saw the multitudinous, God omnipresent, coral insects that out of the firmament of waters heaved the colossal orbs. He saw God's foot upon the treadle of the loom and spoke it. And therefore his shipmates called him mad.
Captain Ahab, sir, here's Pip trying to get back on the boat. He's a crazy loon.
The greater idiot ever scolds the lesser. Hands off from that holiness. Where sayest thou Pip was, boy?
Astern there, sir, astern, low.
And who art thou, boy? I see not my reflection in the vacant pupils of thy eyes. Oh God, that man should be a thing for immortal souls to sift through. Who art thou, boy?
Bellboy, sir. Pip, ding dong, Pip, Pip, who's Pip the coward?
Here, boy. Ahab's cabin shall be Pip's home henceforth, while Ahab lives. Thou touchest my inmost center, boy. What's this? Here's velvet sharkskin.
Ah, now, had poor Pip but felt so kind a thing as this, perhaps he had never been lost.
This seems to me, sir, as a man's rope, something that weak souls may hold by. Oh, sir, rivet these two hands together, the black one with the white, for I will not let this go.
Oh boy, nor will I thee. Come, I feel prouder leading thee by thy black hand than though I grasped an emperor's.
So man's insanity is heaven sent, and wandering from all mortal reason, man comes at last to that celestial thought, which, to reason, is absurd and frantic, and weal or woe feels then uncompromised, indifferent as his God. For the rest, blame not Stubb too hardly. The thing is common in that fishery, and in the sequel of the narrative, it will then be seen what like abandonment befell myself.
Alba's brother, Pip, liked to dance and sing and laugh. He liked to play jokes. He was smart. Too smart. Real smart. Too smart to be in this business. Alba tried to keep him out of it, but he kept seeing all the cars and shoes and jewels we had, people like me had. He thought he could be better at the game than us. He thought he could play a game with white thing. It was just a game from a boy that Alba tried to save. Game over.
Hey, Alba!
Hey, little man! How was school today?
It was all right. I'd rather hang out with about you? School's easy too. Today I finished that stupid science test in 3 minutes. Then the teacher sent me to the library because she said my singing was disrupting the class.
Hers being smart, huh?
For real! Anyway, in the library, I started reading this book on cetology. You know what that is?
No, but...
It's the study of whales. There's a group of whales in the ocean. Big ones, small ones, Greenland whales, humpback whales, razorback whales, right whales, killer whales, narwhals, and that's just some of them. Now, the blue whale is the biggest of them all. In fact, it's the biggest thing to ever live on the earth. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Am I boring you? Anyway, the blue whale is the biggest, but the sperm whale's the baddest. Oh yeah, he has a head shaped like a battering ram that's filled up with A1 choice whale oil. That's why in the old days, whales would ship and look for him. But if they found him, he didn't go down easy. You had to grapple with this dude. He was like a 100-ton muscle with big teeth that could bite a little whale bone in two. But that wasn't the worst part. If he didn't bite your butt, he has a 25-foot wide tail that is strong enough to lift 100 tons of whale out of the water and smash your butt into next week. If you ever out whale hunting, don't worry about the head. Watch out for the tail.
I'll try to remember that.
Alba, why did you leave me in the basement of your apartment that day those guys came looking for you and the one?
I was trying to keep you safe, Pip. They were trying to hurt us. They don't usually come to your house. They look for you on the street.
When they didn't find you, they shot the house to pieces. Seemed like they kept shooting all night long. I was going to go crazy. I was just going crazy. Crazy scared. I thought I saw God. I was crazy. Just waiting for them to find me, but they didn't. You came back. You saved me.
You keep doing good in school. Don't try to hang out with me. And I'll always be there when you need me. I promise.
Hey, yo, Alba, I just got a call on my cell from one of our insiders. He said something is going down in our hood.
East side scallywags all over the place.
Dudes are out on the street harassing our people. A couple of our insiders have been busted up.
We need to get off at the next stop.
And go back and take care of our business. Yeah, we gotta get up.
We gotta find whoever's driving this train and make it turn around.
We'll lose everything that's stable.
We can't.
Come on, you gotta go back. We gotta
I said we're going on.
On deck, Pequod.
Captain Ahab, the oil in the hold is leaking, sir. You must up sail and break out. Either do that, sir, or wasting 1 day more oil than we made good in a year. What we come 20,000 miles to get is worth saving, sir.
So it is. So it is, if we get it.
I was speaking of the oil in the hold.
And I was not speaking or thinking of that at all. Be gone. Let it leak. I'm all leak myself. Leaks and leaks, not only full of leaky casks, but those leaky casks are in a leaky ship. And that's a far worse plight than the Pequod's, man. Yet I don't stop to plug my leak. For who can find it in the deep-loaded hole? Or how hope to plug it, even if found in this life's howling gale?
What will the owners say, sir?
Let the owners stand on Nantucket Beach and out-yell the typhoons. What cares Ahab? Owners? Owners? Thou art always prating to me, Starbuck, about those miserly owners, as if the owners were my conscience. But look ye, the only real owner of anything is its commander. And hark ye, my conscience is in the ship's keel. On deck.
Captain Ahab, a better man than I might well pass over in thee, what he would quickly enough resent in a younger man. Aye, and in a happier Captain Ahab.
Devils! Dost thou then so much as dare to critically think of me? On deck!
Nay, sir, not yet. I do entreat, and I do dare, sir, to be forbearing. Shall we not understand each other better than hitherto, Captain Ahab?
There is one God that is Lord over the earth, and one captain that is Lord over the Pequod. On deck!
Thou hast outraged, not insulted me, sir. But for that I ask thee not to beware of Starbuck. Thou wouldst but laugh. Let Ahab beware of Ahab. Beware of thyself, old man.
Stop the leaks if you can, Mr. Starbuck. Save thine oil and profits. He waxes brave, but nevertheless obeys. Most careful bravery that. What's that he said? Ahab, beware of Ahab? There's something there. Thou art but too good a fellow, Starbuck.
Ask me not, O gentle Savior, hear my humble cry. What on earth thou art calling me?
Oh, Alba. Alba, Alba, the line will go on for miles and miles. Thousands will pass by and weep and shake their heads at the loss of the one. The days before will have been a blaze of pure glory. You and your warriors on the battlefield facing an impossible foe. Blood will have blood is what you will last, as your crew will go before you. You will see them drawn in, then drawn down, where they will wait for you to follow. This will be made true by your choice, your will. I have dreamed it again.
Of the hearses.
Have I not said, old man, that neither hearse nor coffin can be thine?
And who are hearse that die on the sea?
But I said, old man, that ere thou couldst die on this voyage, 2 hearses must verily be seen by thee on the sea. The first not made by mortal hands, and the visible wood of the second one must be grown in America.
Aye, aye, a strange sight that, Parsi. A hearse and its plumes floating over the ocean with the waves to the pallbearers. Ha! Such a sight we shall not soon see.
Believe it or not, thou canst not die till it be seen, old man.
And what was that saying about thyself?
Though it come to the last, I shall still go before thee, my pilot.
And when thou art so gone before, if that ever befall, then ere I can follow, thou must still appear to me to pilot me still. Was it not so? Well then, did I believe all ye say? Oh, my pilot, I have here 2 pledges that I shall yet slay Moby-Dick and survive it.
Take another pledge, old man. Hemp only can kill thee.
The gallows, you mean? I am immortal then, on land and on sea. Immortal, on land and on sea.
Gee, that's a big star. Did you see the lightning bust that tree in half?
Look at me in 6 foot 10. That's what I'm
What you talking about? The lightning on the tree.
Lord, all of crying that the split boat is blowing when Jesus and the spices. One is 40, Kenny, Jesse, Hokey, Pokey. Blood is the ocean, oh.
Avast stone! Let the typhoon sing and strike his harp here in our rigging. But if thou art a brave man, thou wilt hold thy peace.
But I am not a brave man. I never said I was a brave man. I am a coward, and I sing to keep up my spirits. And I'll tell you what it is, Mr. Starbuck. There's no way to stop my singing in this world. To cut my throat. And when that's done, I'll sing ye the doxology for a wind-up.
Look aloft, the St. Elmo, the Copaside, the Copaside.
That's a part of the music that's older than time. My grandfather used to say, when both nature starts bumping into each other, either you need to change the waves or make down a little.
To hell with nature! If nature wants to get up in your grill, don't get scared. Get in nature's face and make it back down. Stand toe to toe with it and say, come on if you're so bad.
Hey, men! Look up at it! Mark it well! The white flame will light the way to the white whale! Hand me those made-mast links there! I would fain follow this course and let mine be against it! Blood against fire!
And go on a better voyage than this.
Now at this time, it was that my poor pagan companion and fast bosom friend, Pequod, was seized with a fever, which brought him nigh to his endless end.
Poor Pequod. He had a man of the crew but gave him up. And as for Pequod himself, what he thought of his case was forcibly shown by a curious favor he asked. The carpenter was at once commanded to do Pequod's bidding, whatever it might include. No sooner was the carpenter apprised of the order than, taking his rule, he forthwith began building him a coffin.
This is the last stop for the train. Station stop, heart of the city. But I've heard tale of a special train that on certain days goes non-stop back to anywhere you came. Tickets don't cost anything.
I've got no place to go back to.
Well, all I can say then is have a nice day. Yep, have a nice day. Hard to have nice days. They're rare things. Only the living can enjoy them. Only the living, only the living, only the living. Leaders lead, followers follow. Trains come and trains go. Sometimes they stop, sometimes they don't. But have a nice day.
You all go with him. This one is on me. This is my rage, my pain. It's got nothing to do with you. I'm becoming a monster. Oozing blood, losing blood. Blood will have blood. So go with him and try to find some peace in your lives. Don't let the demons have your souls. Too late for him.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
That's the only way you can be the one.
Next day, a large ship, the Rachel, was described bearing directly down upon the Pequod, all her spars thickly clustering with men. At the time, the Pequod was making good speed through the water, but as the broad-winged windward stranger shot nigh to her, the boastful sails all fell together as blank bladders that are burst. All life fled from the smitten hull.
Bad news. She brings bad news.
Hast seen the white whale?
Aye, yesterday. Have ye seen a whaleboat adrift?
Where was he? Not killed, not killed. How was it?
The whale? Curse the whale. We have 3 boats missing. My boy, my own boy is among them. For God's sake, I beg, I conjure, for 8 and 40 hours, let me charter your ship. I will gladly pay for it and roundly pay for it, if there be no other way. For 8 and 40 hours only that you must, oh, you must, and shall do this thing.
What says Ahab? We must save that boy.
He's drowned with the rest on him. Last night I heard, all of ye heard their spirits.
I will not go till you say aye to me. Do to me as you would have do to me in the like case. For you too have a boy, Captain Ahab, though a child, but and nestling in safety home now. A child of your old age too. Yes, you relent. I see it. Run, men, now, and stand by 2 squares in the yard.
Captain, I will not do it. Even now I lose time. Goodbye, goodbye. God bless you, man. And may I forgive myself, but I must go.
God bless you, Captain Ahab. God forgive you, Captain Ahab.
But by her still halting course and winding woeful way, you plainly saw that this ship that so wept with spray still remained without comfort. She was Rachel, weeping for her children because they were not.
We're looking for Whiting. We are looking for Whiting.
What business have you got with him?
Are you Whiting? Maybe. It all depends.
On what?
It depends on why you're looking for it.
You're mighty young and tender to be looking for Whiting. You could only be here for one reason.
And what reason could that be?
You're here because you don't understand anything about Whiting. So you come to kill me. Why would you do that? Trying to kill me is like trying to kill yourself. I'm the best and worst part of you, all rolled into one.
I only exist because you want me to. You're weak. You need me to ease your pain. You're lost. So I keep you dry in the pouring rain. I make you happy through your nose or in your veins. I make you glad so you don't go mad.
You have no idea of who I am. I am the lifeblood of the world. I am the biggest employer of the poor. I keep pilots in the air, ships on sea, bankers do my laundry. I am the pension plan for hundreds of thousands.
Now, what will it take to make you go away? A car, some shoes, diamond rings and other bling. What's your price? I'll pay. I need to keep my people alive and happy. But don't be fooled. Don't think that because I'm kind, I like you. I don't like anybody that much. That's why I killed your father.
Your uncle, your sister.
Your brother.
And if you're not careful, I'll do you, too.
Call me, text me, tweet me, hit me up on Facebook, post something on YouTube. Do this when you've had some time to think. Or just step out onto the street and call my name. Yeah, just speak my name. I'll be there before you blink.
Starbuck!
Sir?
Oh, Starbuck. It is a mild, mild wind and a mild windy sky. On such a day, very much such a sweetness as this, I struck my first whale. A boy harpooner of 18. 40 years ago. 40 years of continual whaling. 40 years of privation and peril and storm time. 40 years on the pitiless sea. For 40 years has Ahab forsaken the peaceful land. For 40 years to make war on the horrors of the deep. Aye, and yes, Starbuck. Out of those 40 years, I have not spent 3 ashore. Away, whole oceans away from that young girl wife I wedded past 50, and sailed for Cape Horn the next day, leaving but one dent in my marriage pillow. Wife? Rather a widow with her husband alive. Aye, I widowed that poor girl when I married her. Starbuck. And then, the madness, the frenzy, the boiling blood and the smoking brow with which, for 1,000 lowerings, old Ahab has furiously, foamingly chased his prey, more a demon than a man. Aye, what a 40 years fool old Ahab has been. Why this strife of the chase? Why weary, Starbuck? I feel deadly faint, bowed, and humped, as though I were Adam, staggering beneath the piled centuries since paradise. God, crack my heart, stave my brain, mockery, bitter, biting mockery of gray hairs. Have I lived enough joy to weary you, and seem and feel thus intolerably old? Close! Stand close to me, Starbuck. Let me look into a human eye. It is better than to gaze at the sea or sky, better than to gaze upon God. By the green land, by the bright earth stone, this is the magic glass man. I see my wife and child in thine eye.
Oh, my captain, noble soul, grand old heart after all. Why should anyone give chase to that hated fish? Away with me! Let us fly these deadly waters! Let us home! Wife and child, too, are Starbuck's. Wife and child of his brotherly, sisterly, and playfellow youth. Even as thine, sir, are the wife and child of thy loving, longing, paternal old age. Away! Let us away!
Ahab, is it I, God, or who that lifts this arm? But if the great sun move not of himself, but is an errand boy in heaven, nor one single star can revolve, but by some invisible power. How then can this one small heart beat, this one brain think thoughts, unless God does that beating, does that thinking, does that living, and not I? But it is a mild, mild wind, and a mild looking sky. And the air smells now, as if it blew from a faraway meadow. They have been making hay somewhere under the slopes of the Andes, Starbuck. There she blows! There she blows!
There she blows!
Look like there's no hill, it's Moby-Dick!
Right ahead.
I knew it! You can't escape! Now blow and spit on your spout, oh whale! The mad fiend himself is after you. Blow your drum, blister your lungs. Ahab will dam of your blood as a miller shut his water gate upon the street.
There she breaches, there she breaches.
Aye, breacher at last to the sun, Moby-Dick. Thy hour and thy harpoon are at hand. Down, down all of you, but one man at the fore. The boats stand by.
Great God, for one single instant show thyself. Never, never wilt thou capture him. Old man, in Jesus' name, no more of this. That's worse than devil's madness. Shall we keep chasing this murderous fish till he swamps the last man? Shall we be dragged by him to the bottom of the sea? Shall we be towed by him to the infernal world? Oh, in piety and blasphemy to hunt him more.
Starbuck, in this matter of the whale, be the front of thy face to me as the palm of this hand. A lipless, unfeatured blank. Ahab is forever Ahab, man. This whole act's immutably decreed. 'Twas rehearsed by thee and me a billion years before this ocean rolled. Fool! I am the fate's lieutenant. I act under orders. Look thou, underling, that thou obeyest mine. Stand round me, men. You see an old man cut down to the stump, leaning on a shivered lance, propped up on a lonely foot. 'Tis Ahab's his body's part, but Ahab's soul's a centipede that moves upon 100 legs. Do you feel brave, men? Brave! Starbuck!
Sir?
Starbuck, some ships sail from their ports and ever afterwards are missing.
Truth, sir, saddest truth.
Starbuck, I am old. Shake hands with me, man.
Oh, Captain, my Captain, noble heart, go not, go not. See, it's a brave man that weeps. How great the agony of the persuasion then.
No, boy, you be the captain. Lower away! I'll 10 times girdle the unmeasured globe. Yea, and dive straight through it, but I'll slay him yet!
Here's food for thought. Had Ahab time to think, but Ahab never thinks. He only feels. That's tingling enough for mortal man. To think's audacity. God only has that right and privilege. Diving beneath the settling ship, the whale ran quivering along its keel, but turning underwater, swiftly shot to the surface again. Far off the other bow, but within a few yards of Ahab's boat, where, for a time, he lay quiescent. Then, as if to strike a terror in them, Moby-Dick turned and was now coming for the boat, churning himself into furious speed while the white whale made a sudden rush among the tangling lines and disappeared into a boiling maelstrom.
Fadala! Where is Fadala? He must have been caught among the tangles of your line. I thought I saw him dragging on the...
My line! My line, God! God, what means this little word?
A quick cry went up, lashed round and round to the fish's back. The half-torn body of the Parsee, his distended eye turned full on Ahab.
Aye, Parsee, I see thee again. Aye, and thou goest before me. This then is the hearse thou didst promise.
For an instant, the tranced boat's crew stood still, then turned.
The ship! Great God, release the ship!
Soon, they, through them bewildering mediums, saw her sidelong fading phantom.
The ship! The second hearse! Its wood could only be grown in America. There she blows! Thou all destroying but a conquering whale! To the last I grapple battle with thee. From hell's heart I stab at thee. For hate's sake I spit my last breath at thee. Thou damned whale! Thus I give up the spear.
The harpoon was darted. The stricken whale flew forward. With igniting velocity, the line ran through the grove. Ran foul. Ahab stooped to clear it. He did clear it, but the flying turn caught him round the neck, and voicelessly as Turkish mutes bowstring their victims. He was shot out of the boat, the crew knew he was gone.
And now concentric circles seed the lone boat itself, and all its crew, and each floating oar and every lance pole, and spinning, animate and inanimate. All round and round in one vortex carried the smallest ship of the Pequod out of sight. His ship, which like Satan would not sink to hell till she had dragged a living part of heaven along with her and helmeted herself with it. Now small fowls flew screaming over the yet yawning gulf. A sullen white surf beat against its steep sides, then all collapsed. And the great shroud of the sea rolled on as it rolled 5,000 years ago.
Let's go take care of White Thing. And now the time of tide has come. The ship casts off her cables, glides to sea, the first of recorded smugglers. The contraband was Jonah, but the sea rebels. He will not bear the wicked burden. A dreadful storm comes on. The ship is like to break. The god fugitive is now too plainly known. The sailors mark him. More and more certain their suspicions grow of him. And at last, fully to test the truth by referring the whole matter to the high heaven, they fall to casting lots to see for whose cause this great tempest was upon them. And now, behold Jonah taken up as an anchor and dropped into sea, when instantly an oily calmness floats out from the east, and the sea is still as Jonah carries down the gale with him, leaving smooth water behind. He goes down in the whirling heart of such a masterless commotion that he scarce heeds the movement when he drops seething into the yawning jaws awaiting him. And the whale shoots to all his ivory teeth, like so many white bolts upon his prison. Then Jonah prayed unto his God.
But observe his prayer and learn a weighty lesson.
For sinful as he is, Jonah does not weep and wail for direct deliverance.
He feels that his dreadful punishment is just.
He leaves all of his deliverance to God, contenting himself with this, that despite all of his pains and pangs, he will still look towards his holy temple. And here, shipmates, is true and faithful repentance, not clamorous for pardon, grateful for punishment. And how pleasing to God was this conduct in Jonah is shown in the eventual deliverance of him from the sea and the whale. Shipmates, I do not place Jonah before you to be copied for his sin, but I do place him before you as a model for repentance. Sin not, but if you do, take heed to repent of it like Jonah. But O shipmates, on the starboard hand of every woe, there is a sure delight, and higher the top of that delight than the bottom of the woe is.
But oh shipmates, on the starboard hand of every woe, there is a sure delight, and higher the top of that delight than the bottom of the woe is. You're doing this all wrong. You've got to understand, White Thing is bigger than a lot of nations. It has an undefeated army of those willing to sell their souls, sell out their neighborhoods, their friends, and the future. You could come here with all the policemen and government agencies and all the guns in the world. You still wouldn't win. Too much money to be made. Too many people getting paid. You can't have your brother back, Dodge. You can't have your sister back, Tasha. No uncles or fathers are coming back. The cemetery is full of people just like you who followed leaders just like you, sis, into the eye of the hurricane, looking for revenge. While White Thing or Black Thing or Red Thing or Yellow Thing gets ready to deal with the next crew calling themselves the One.
White Thing has got to die!
Yes, he does, but you can't do it this way. Go home. Get him out of your lives, out of the hood. He doesn't stay where strong people live. Kick him out so you'll have some room in your own souls to think about what you need to do. Hey, big sister, I'll be okay. Just remember, if you ever out whale hunting, don't worry about the head. Watch out for the tail.
That train I was telling you about, still running.
Okay, little man. I'm going home.
floating on the margin of the ensuing scene, and in full sight of it, when the half-spent suction of the sunk ship reached me, I was then, but slowly drawn towards the closing vortex. When I reached it, it had subsided to a creamy pool, round and round, then, and ever contracting towards the button-like black bubble at the axis of that slowly wheeling circle. Like another ixion, I did revolve, till gaining that vital center, the black bubble upward burst, and now, liberated by reason of its cunning spring, and owing to its great buoyancy, rising with great force, the coffin that floated by my side, buoyed up by that coffin. For almost one whole day and night, I floated on a soft and dirge-like main. On the second day, a sail drew near, and picked me up at last. It was the devious cruising Rachel, that in her retracing search after her missing children, only found another orphan.
Good evening. I'm Henry Jenkins, professor here at USC, and it's my pleasure to bring on stage Ricardo Pitts-Wiley from Rhode Island Mixed Magic Theater, who's the person responsible for this performance tonight. So, you've been on a remarkable journey of your own yourself this past couple of weeks, Ricardo.
Oh boy, that's for sure.
So, when was the first time you brought this cast together?
Our first rehearsal was on Sunday of this week. So we only had 3 times together, and really 3 times together, but they were hardworking and they were very...
Come on down if you can't hear. There's a lot of seats up here. Come on down.
All right, can you hear me now?
Okay, let's try that again. So you said that the first time you brought the cast together was
on Sunday of this week, and we worked to try to make it all come together. I had a wonderful cast of young people to work with. They worked hard, and they were a pleasure.
So the cast that you saw tonight came from both here at USC, and you went out to several of the schools in the Los Angeles area.
Absolutely, and Alexandrina Gloro made it possible for me to visit some of those high schools. They were wonderful students, and...
Yeah, okay, we'll just do that. Thanks.
All righty. Can you hear me now? All right. Okay. So I got to work with students from 2 high schools, even though we visited 3 high schools during the week, and it was a remarkable experience meeting those students also.
So let's go back to the beginning of this production. You said at the beginning you had been inspired by the incarcerated youth you worked with in Rhode Island. Can you share a little bit of what those experiences were like?
Well, the young people who were incarcerated were, and I have to say, some of our best and brightest minds are locked up, and we have to do something about that. So, my politics aside, these young people not only read the novel, they read it closely, and it convinced me that it was possible to get young people to read a difficult novel like Moby-Dick if you presented it to them in a way that was interesting. And even though I thought I had a pretty good imagination about what I wanted to do with the novel, they really released my imagination in ways that I'll be indebted to them forever. They were able to reimagine the characters. They were able to deal with the cocaine industry and the drug industry and the violence that's often associated with in a very personal way, many of them. But there was also a search for humanity. They even in the midst of all that violence, they helped me try to find that humanity that was always present in the script.
So and then you took it to the Mixed Magic Theater and brought together a youth cast and an adult cast to do the original stage production of this.
Yes, after I worked in the prison system, I brought together a group of high school students from Rhode Island, and they were the ones who actually helped me shape the young people's language. And they were very excited. They came in. I can't say any of them read the novel in its entirety, but I don't know a whole lot of people who have. But they took the young people's language, and I tried to impress upon them how important it was that language had to have as much value as Melville's language. It had to be you had to be able to speak it like Shakespeare the way Melville's language can often be spoken like Shakespeare. And they really addressed it. They looked to put the rhythm into it, the rhyme into it, the energy into it, the color into it, and the specificity into it. And also, they were able to reference their contemporary lives. They used references that were about things that were happening in their lives right then and there. And that's another group I'll be indebted to. And my adult company also, who many of them did read the novel, and they would come back to me at rehearsals and say, "Can we add this line in? This is a really good line." And it got to a point where I had to make a deal with them. If you wanted to add a line into the script, you had to take one away. You had to be able to trade me a line for a line, so that it didn't turn out to be a 5-hour show.
So what had happened for me was Ricardo came to my office at MIT when I was a faculty member there with Wynne Kelly, who's a Melville specialist, who really writes about how Melville himself mashes up, remixes all kinds of materials from the 19th century American scene to create Moby-Dick. And I have to say, freely, I never got past the whiteness of the whale in high school, right? That I was one who was totally defeated by this book the first time I tried to read it. I wrote a crappy paper, I got a C on it, and I filed it away and said, I'm never going to deal with a stupid book again. And Ricardo came to me and said, you got to read this book, as he's done to so many other people. And his vision is, I think, of a community of readers, of adults and youth who read this book together and talk about it. And it resonated for me as someone who's written a lot about fan cultures and about remix cultures at the contemporary moment. The approach he took to this of mashing up a 19th century book with a 20th and 21st century problem, and the enormous respect that Ricardo himself has for Melville's work. Yeah. So I'm often told, oh, that's a dead white male book, right? That this is a book. And with that, and I understand the anger that's behind it and the desire to open up the curriculum for other voices that need to be heard. But when we do that, we also deliver a message about who should be reading Moby-Dick and what meanings they should get from it. And Ricardo, I think tonight, pretty successfully showed the lie behind that this is a work that can speak to a variety of different people.
And not only can it speak to a variety of different people, if you read it successfully, if you read it well, it'll take you to everything you're reading today. It's not separated. I think very often we teach in a way. Teachers teach what the literature that was important to them, that was important to their teachers, and they don't. I'm not sure they're asking enough what's important to the young people, or showing them that Moby-Dick, Don Quixote, Frankenstein, the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, a lot of great literature is very much connected to the work that they're doing today. You just have to show them the path. It takes them from one thing to the other. And I try to do that with Moby-Dick.
So let's talk a little bit about the choices you made in casting here tonight. You have a multiracial cast, right, which is true of every production of yours. I've ever seen, and that's clearly important to you. You've mixed some of the parts across races,
Right.
and you've mixed genders in some of these parts.
Well, this cast was had more women in it than any cast I've ever had, and that was okay, because one of the things that I found out that I don't think it mattered that much that that women were playing traditional male roles because they played them very well, but also everybody was on the boat, everybody was on the Pequod, so I didn't have to make up any people, and so everybody has an opportunity to play a role in the show, and sometimes I think young people are given a chance to actually create a role out of whole cloth. They're able to look at it and say, okay, here are the properties of the role, particularly the young company. They can look at the properties of the role and say, whatever I do, it's brand new. As long as you keep telling Melville's story. You have to keep telling the story. And I didn't want to rewrite Melville's story. I just wanted to show that it has contemporary parallels.
So often one of the criticisms of Melville's story is that it's only got men on the boat, right? So not everyone's on the boat. Women are by and large not on Melville's boat, but you made a conscious decision to make Alba a female character.
Well, that was important because I wanted to be able to demonstrate that male, female, whatever, the passion and the desire to exact revenge on something that has hurt you is not limited to just men. That's one thing. But also, I didn't want it to be a comparison of male characters. By making Alba a female, it became just two captains, not two guys and one trying to be tougher than the other. But also, it also, I think in some ways shows a capacity for female leadership to be hardcore too. Which is, I'm not always sure it's a positive thing, but it's a real thing. Women can be hardcore too, and this was a person who had been hurt badly, and was ready to, like Ahab, forfeit her very soul to get her revenge, but unlike Ahab, when the chance came to turn around, eventually she took it, and he didn't. So maybe that's the wisdom of women being demonstrated on stage, too.
So let's talk about Fleece's sermon here, which is one of the striking moments in this multicultural cast. Because Fleece in the original book is one of the three black characters in the original book.
Absolutely. Well, Fleece is so funny, because Fleece is that has that sage wisdom. He's the lowest ranking member on the ship. He's black. He's a cook. He's always underground. They always pick on him, but ultimately, Fleece, I think, has one of the great lines in the entire novel. All Angel is a shark, well governed. All Angel is a shark, well governed. Melville had a way, and when the actress who played Fleece, when she came to me the first time, she said, "I can't do a black accent." I said, "Well, don't do a black accent then. Do an accent that feels comfortable to you." But what I think she discovered and the whole company discovered was, once you got an African American accent, a Cajun accent, an Irish accent, a Cockney accent, a Jamaican accent, all together, they weren't that far apart. In some ways, Fleece and the way that Fleece talks makes them the other. And I appreciated that the actress respected that Fleece was originally a black character, but also sought to honor that tradition of the other.
So one of the things you've added to the most recent production is a really focus on naming and the role of names, which seems like an important theme. After all, the first line of the book is "Call Me Ishmael." Right. So tell us about the role of naming in the play.
Well, it's very interesting. Nobody in Moby-Dick has a last name. Most of them don't have a first name. I think names are part of a process that allow people to become disposable people. And when you don't have a name, when you don't have a first, last name, and it's also very interesting in gang culture, very often, you know, people forfeit their birth names and they take on a gang name. That, you know, that's one name, and that's what they become. Well, when you lose that part of your identity like that, you become a disposable person much more easily. Nobody on Ahab's ship had a full name, but at one point, Alba calls out her crew, and she calls them by their given names. She lets them know, I know you, I see you, I know your history. We lived in this neighborhood forever. And only at one point does Ahab actually point out the names of his crew. When he's trying to get them to help him kill the whale, he identifies Tashtego, he identifies Pequod, he identifies Dagu, because they all have seen the whale. Some of them have even maybe fought with him. But other than that, there's a wonderful moment there's a moment in the novel where a sailor falls over and sinks, and they throw a life buoy after him, and the life buoy sinks too. Nobody ever says, well, that was Bill Johnson. Just a sailor dead. And this is such a commentary on when cultures create disposable people, and when those people aren't aware of their situation or are unable to get out of their situation. And hopefully Alba and her crew, Alba came to a place where she recognized that she wasn't going to let herself and her crew become just disposable people in the hands of white thing who didn't care.
So once I met Ricardo, we pulled him into the world of a project the MacArthur Foundation was doing on digital media and learning, and we developed a curriculum based on the idea of reading as remix that used Ricardo's play that you saw tonight as a core text. And that's the story that we tell in the book, Reading as in Participatory Culture, which they'll be selling some copies upstairs, and Ricardo and I will be doing our autographs during the reception. But you've talked a lot about the discomfort you felt initially when we used that word appropriation to talk about what we thought was a skill in contemporary culture, the ability to appropriate and remix the content of a culture in a way that brings it alive for a new audience. So what was it, your discomfort with appropriation, and share some of the things you taught to me about that.
Well, as an African American, I've seen my culture appropriated a lot of times. Throughout history, it's been appropriated and used by people for their own purposes without necessarily benefiting the source of it. Or people would use things and not put any value on where it came from. You know, you'd sing a hymn and without recognizing that was a work song. That was a hymn that saved a people from an awful situation. It allowed them to survive. And you just use it like it doesn't really have any value. It's only convenient for you. So I had a lot of difficulty with that. And also, one of the things I appreciated about Moby-Dick was Melville acknowledged where things came from. And I think it's so important for young people to understand that when you go grab something, just because you've got a computer and access to information doesn't mean that you're not responsible to know where that information came from, what it means, what value it has, and how it connects to other people. It's not just yours because you can use it. And also, if you take the time to find out where it comes from, it gains greater value. It doesn't mean you can't use it. But, you know, you just can't go to Africa and take a fertility ritual drum rhythm and a Polynesian, melody and an Italian opera and put them together and say, I just invented something new. No, you didn't. What you did was a lot of stealing. If you don't say, we took this, and this, and we created something new out of it, something that may be interesting. But let me tell you where that rhythm in the background comes from. That comes from a place where it was important to hear that rhythm, or to hear that aria. Why why Aida's aria is so important and why it's so moving. You've got to give credit. Know where it came from too. Don't just guess at it and use it because you think you can. Because when you do that, I think you devalue it. And sometimes I know my words are falling on deaf ears. I understand that, but I'm going to keep saying them. And as long as I have anything to do with this incredible new world of new media literacies, I'm going to keep saying it. Know where it came from. Put value on it.
So this is one of the answers we give to teachers who often say, you're asking us to teach kids to remix, and we're trying to tell them not to plagiarize. So what's the difference? And what we're saying is a remix knows where it comes from. It acknowledges its sources. It's grounded in history. It's quoting things for a reason. It's what Mrs. Hopkins, my high school English teacher, talked about biblical allusions in Moby-Dick. And what she was saying is Moby-Dick's built on the Bible, right? It borrows and remixes the Bible and creates something new from the story of Jonah. Plagiarism is simply copying, right? Plagiarism tries to mask where it comes from. It tries to pass someone else's work off as your own. And to my mind, that's a fundamental ethical difference between the two. So modern culture is built on remix, and we saw some spectacular examples of remixing songs from all over the place in Ricardo's play tonight, and all of those are meaningful. The more you learn about the song, or the more you know about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, or Little Nemo, or whatnot, the deeper those lines resonate with you. But it's because of the deep respect for history that those become elements we can build our culture on. And that's very different from when a kid tries to pass off a paper they found online and try to pretend that it's their own work.
And also, the reference to Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, you know, and Pop Goes the Weasel, if you go back to their history, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was a fun family car and a fun family film, but look at how something like that, which started off to be one thing, and as it's used in the play, it becomes something totally different. And you have to be mindful of how your culture, your language, your music could become something else if you're not careful or if you don't understand the root of it. Most of the kids we talk to, you know, when you say Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, you know, all they know is it was used in what's the cop movie?
You're embarrassing me.
I'll think of it. But anyway, Will Smith and Bad Boys. It's used there for the same reason. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, baby. All of a sudden, that's murder. Started out as being a fun family car. But if that can happen to that, imagine what can happen to other things in your culture that are very important to you if you're not careful about it.
So I'm going to open the floor for a couple of questions from the audience, so be ready. Let me, in the meanwhile, say that this has been a collaboration that's brought together a number of parts of USC. Annenberg School of Communication, where Alex is a grad student, I'm faculty member, and we've had a team of staff that's worked very hard on this. Yes, we've had the theater arts folks here, and Anita has been a really key ally in making this happen. Very much so. We got some funding from the Rossier School. And I should say, you know, we without Anita, we would not have this incredible cast here that's really helped made this production possible. We've worked with the education school where I also have an affiliation, and they were very excited about the outreach to the high schools across the Los Angeles area and the kind of dialogue that took place here between the high school cast, who I think did an extraordinary job, and working with the USC students to make this production possible. There's not enough of these partnerships between USC and the greater Los Angeles community, and I'm very happy that we've brought a number of you from the community here tonight, and you are very, very welcome on this campus. So are there some questions out there? Anyone want to?
There's a hand, there's a...
I get a kick out of that set where you had the groups of people and the people in the front, they ended up saying, this is business.
Yeah. The agents. The agents.
Oh, yes, right. What was the connection?
Ahab has a line when he's when he's talking with Starbuck. At one point, he says, "And be he agent or be he principal, I'll wreak that hate upon him." And the word agent was the word I needed, because at that point he had no respect for this thing called God. If the well is God, or if the well is one of the agents of God, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to kill him anyway. And with that, I said, you know, the young people have to deal with the agents of white thing. And so the agents of white thing appear not as you would think that they would appear. Who would think that a soccer mom will be considered an agent of the drug empire, the drug cartel, or that the role of police, as if, and most of us know, the police can be deeply involved in drug business. Lawyers make a lot of money getting people off or sending them to jail. It's business. Ultimately, at the end, white thing says, wait a minute, do you know how much business we're talking about here? This is huge business. I use this comparison often nowadays. LeBron James introduced a $51,000 wristwatch recently. $51,000. That will fuel a drug trade across the country until somebody gets one, until a few people get one. And the first one in the hood or the first one in the suburbs who gets a $51,000 LeBron James watch. And it's like advertising for the drug business, just like a BMW, just like $250 pairs of Air Jordans. It is business. The mayor of our city in Providence, his father and brothers became rich lawyers getting drug dealers exonerated. They got rich doing it. I know it. Everybody does. So business is important. It is business. And, you know, but also in Moby-Dick, what does Starbucks selling? What about the money? The owners, the business. And Ahab says, forget the money. Still business.
Okay, was another hand out there? Yes. Thank you.
Well, I agree that it's like to fire the materialism that the children see in today's world. But my question was, what's next? Which one are you going to take on next?
What project?
Yeah.
Well, I'm working on two, actually. I'm working on Frankenstein right now. I do it in April in Rhode Island. And I try to find a big question to deal with and when I do an adaptation like that. And my big question in Frankenstein is, what do we do with the monsters we create? And what do they do with us? And what is the process of monster making? We live in a culture right now where the things that Mary Shelley theorized about 150 years ago, we're pretty close to making those actual. We can clone. We can do 3D print, printing of artificial limbs and things like that. We can practically create life in a test tube. We can do that. So, but the process of monster making, how are we responsible for that? Victor never acknowledges the presence of the thing he created, and it punished him over and over and over again. And I think we're doing a lot in our own culture. We're making monsters and not being willing to take responsibility for them. When you spend more money locking people up than you do educating them, you're in the business of monster making.
Okay, was there a hand down here? Did I see something? Anyone over there? All right, well, thank you so much for coming. Thank Ricardo for a great production.